How often do you look at your past and think about how far you've come? I mean, look at where you were a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and then give yourself a big pat on the back and say, good job. Today, I want to encourage you to do that a lot more. Yesterday, my husband and I were watching Elevation Church, Pastor Stephen Furtick, and the sermon, I'm going to put a link down below for it. The sermon was called Just the Two of Us or something like that. And Pastor Stephen was sitting on the stage, he was strumming his guitar, and he was sharing stories about when he first started off as a pastor and how he didn't have his big band that now plays with him and is producing records, but he would be doing the music himself, and his wife would be, dancing and showing the people around how to do it. And I just sat there thinking, wow, that's where they've come from. And now look where they are today. And then I got to thinking about where we were, about where my husband and I were 10 years ago. It's been a crazy journey, friends. I want you to know that even though some days I might look well put together and everything may look like it's flowing seamlessly, smoothly, whatever word you want to put in there, getting to where I am now and having things flow relatively smooth has been an uphill climb. And if you haven't heard me talk about it before, it seems like the closer you get to the top of the mountain, the harder the climb. We were out this weekend, or I think my husband wanted to know, which account he should use when he went grocery shopping. And it was so nice to be able to tell him which card, and tell him the balance. When in 2012, we often had $3, maybe $13 was a great weekend to get through on or for food. And that could have been me and Dave and my two older boys. The littles weren't born yet. But there were weekends we were literally going through the quarters and the nickels and the pennies in our car, looking through the couch cushions for money, looking to see if there were any quarters on top of the washer or the dryer that happened to fall out, in the wash. We were trying to be, and we often had to be creative with what we could do with ramen just to make sure we made it through the weekend. And ramen, I think, what does it cost? Maybe 10 cents a pack? We had to be really creative. But we didn't give up. And that's how we are here today. That's how I am here today. We didn't give up. We kept our chins relatively up. I'm not going to say high. That feels snooty to me. My husband always reminded me when I was getting down, keep your chin up. Keep going. There's people out there. On March 2nd, let me think the year. March 2nd, 2019, it was my 40th birthday. And I was in my virtual assistant job Facebook group, and I saw an interaction that wasn't going at all pleasantly, and I intervened. I wanted the whole conversation to stop because it was just really unfriendly, and that's not what my group is about. In case you don't know, when I started my business in 2012, I was a virtual assistant, and in 2013, I started Virtual Assistant Jobs, a Facebook group which over the years has grown to over 50,000 members. I'm not even a virtual assistant anymore, but I still maintain this group along with the help of my team, and sometimes we have to step in. My rule is if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Okay, so I stepped in. And the reason why I remember the date is because it was my 40th birthday. I stepped in and I told people, stop. And on that day, I got death threats from people who didn't like how I intervened. And I remember telling my husband, I'm ready to just shut the doors. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to have my kids threatened. It's not worth it to have him and I threatened. I was ready to give up and go back to work. And he reminded me that if I gave up, I was going to be letting the devil win. I was going to be letting the bad guys win. When I can't do that. I have a mission here, and so do you. And if we give up when times are tough, then how are we going to share that message with the world? So today, I want you to look back to where you were 1 year ago, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago, and I want you to journal to yourself. I want you to congratulate yourself on what you've learned, the people that you've met, the people that you've let go of, the opportunities that you've had, the opportunities that you turned down. I want you to congratulate yourself on the big wins and for surviving the terrible losses. But you're here, and that's what I want you to congratulate yourself the most for. Look back on where you were just a few years ago. Look back on where you were. It's Monday morning. Look back at where you were last Monday morning. By all means, my husband and I are giving ourselves a big pat on the back for surviving last week with the craziness of kids, numerous sporting events, sick kids, sick both of us, but we made it through, and so did you. So look back where you were, give yourself a big pat on the back, and then leave a thumbs up on this video. Congratulate yourself for pushing through bloopers. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and come back tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern when I'll be live again. Now, with all this said, go forth and make it a positive and a productive day.